Is Jim Sears? I see Jim.
Jim's here. He's just having a little technical issue, John. I'm gonna try and. Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to help him. Didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. So Jim's going to dial in for his audio. Peg Zielinski,
I'm here.
Lou George,
Here.
Tori Adler.
I'm here on the phone and trying to get into the video.
Okay. No problem, Tori. And Gene Hartnett.
Yep, here.
Great. For this meeting, the planning board is convening remotely via the Teams app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast.
Welcome to the audio conferencing center. Please enter a conference ID followed by pound.
Supporting materials that have been provided to the members of this body will be shown during this transmission.
To continue
Public
in
is
English,
encouraged
press
to follow
1.
when using the
Para
posted
español,
agenda
presione
unless
2.
noted otherwise. A few meeting ground rules. If everyone could mute their mic just for a minute. We are now meeting ground rules. We're
Welcome
turning
to the audio
item on
conferencing
the
center.
agenda.
Please enter a
Do so,
conference ID
please,
followed
ground
by...
Jim. Let me pause for a minute.
You are now...
Okay. Great.
I'm on now.
Okay, great, Jim. Thanks. I was just going over a couple of the ground rules for the benefit of the members and the public. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motion. Please hold until your name is called. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps us generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait for the chair to yield the floor to you. State your name before speaking. If members wish to engage with each other, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. For items with public comments, we have established an email address for public comments @danversmass.gov. This email address is shown online with the streaming of this meeting. Residents may email comments and they will be read out loud after the staff has confirmed your name and address. All emails must contain the date and phrase planning board meeting in the subject line. Finally, each vote taken this evening will be conducted by a roll call vote. So let me just turn to the first item. It's 11 and 20 Locust Street, request for an extension of the completion date for site improvements with no reduction in the surety sought. Assessors map 43, lot 147 and 162. So I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Thank you very much. My name is Nancy McCann. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Thomas Carnevale. And we have been in discussion with planning staff with regard to the items that remain incomplete. And they're really three different types. One has to do with some sidewalk completion items and repairs. The other has to do with landscaping items. And the third has to do with removal of the temporary propane tanks that have been placed on the property because National Grid is doing some work on the gas main. And we can't complete some of the site work, some loaming and seeding and that sort of thing in the back until National Grid is finished with their work. So we're really dealing with three outstanding items that are weather sensitive. So I requested the continuance originally until April, and then speaking with Josh, he suggested actually that why don't we just ask for an extension until June 30? That way we won't have to come back. And we, while we're in this process, we are also working with planning staff on the final preparation of the as-built plans and any field modifications that have to be done. And those are actually impacted by the changes to the site plan process that were approved by special town meeting last week. So we're working with staff on that, and we're kind of at the mercy of National Grid on the final completion, and then we have some landscaping things to clean up. So we are requesting an extension, but not a reduction in the bond amount until June 30, 2022.
Great. Okay, Peg, questions?
I don't have any questions regarding the extension. I think that, obviously they are weather related, and if not, National Grid is using or who is it, National Gas and National Grid is using part of the site, then it's difficult for you to do work. I am curious though still about how the building is renting.
It is renting quite well. We have a commercial tenant in on the first floor. That's been the hardest to get leased up. Most of the residential units have been rented.
Great. Okay, good. No further questions.
Jean, questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Jim?
Jim,
only
you're on
question I
mute. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the
Go
only
ahead,
question
Jim.
I had was the sidewalk work. Is that going to be impacting any way entrance to the building at all, or if that's on the
No.
other side?
No, there was just some cleanup repair type of things before the final sign off by engineering.
Is that across the street or is it on site in the back?
I believe it is on site, but it was just some minor things.
Okay, I'm fine with it, John.
Okay, Lou?
Yep, that's good to hear about the, in terms of the rental status, including a commercial tenant, that's great. Just in terms of with respect to National Grid, are they finished up for the year? I know that they usually have a stop in terms of doing any sort of work in like November, so do you know when they'll be resuming?
I don't know the answer to that. Tom Carnevale has been dealing with them directly, and they have been responsive, sort of. So we've kind of been trying to work with them and getting their timing, and that has not been quite as easy as maybe it could be.
Yeah, I think it makes sense then to go along with the June 30th, just in case it requires a little extra time or we have a particularly harsh winter. So no, I have no further questions.
Okay, Tori, questions?
No questions. I'm fine with this.
Yeah, and I don't have any questions, and I'm happy to hear about the leasing activity too, and I wish them more success in their leasing activities. So is there a motion from one of the members of the board to extend the completion date for the site improvements with no reduction in the surety to June 30th, 2022?
I make a motion to extend 11 and 29 Locust Street to June 30th, 2022.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. So can we just do the roll call? Lou,
Yes.
Tori,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Peg,
Yes.
and Jean will get you on the record.
Yes.
And I'm in favor as well, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
The second item on the agenda this evening is 49 Adams Street, a request from Jared Hazel to endorse a Form A approval not required plan as a perimeter plan of a parcel in the residential 1 zoning district, assesses map 67, lot 7. So turn it over to the applicant.
Thank you again. My name is Nancy McCann. I'm here on behalf of the applicant Jared Hazel, and we are requesting endorsement of a Form A&R plan. This is essentially a perimeter plan. It meets the requirements having more than 80 feet of frontage and more than 10,000 square feet of land in the R1 zoning district.
Okay, great. Jim, I'll start with you. Any questions?
No questions, John.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Tori, any questions?
No, no questions.
Lou, questions?
Yeah, just a question. I mean, how does this relate to, and this may be a question for staff, how does this relate to the site plan approval that we had relatively recently with respect to this parcel?
Sure. So yes, the project, there was a special permit and site plan approved. I don't know if it was the last meeting or the meeting before. This is just simply the applicant has the right or ability to, submit the plan that's in front of us. There's been no changes to frontage or the lot lines. I think they're just simply, just trying to preserve their future rights for some uses here. So,
I'll,
I guess that's all
I'll
I
just,
have. But unless Nancy has a comment.
if you want me to add to it, really, to be very transparent, this was done as a zone freeze
Okay.
plan because we were in the middle of his multifamily permitting process
Okay.
when there was a proposal to change the use in the R1 district to not permit multifamily. So to protect him while we were kind of in that in-between period, because I didn't know, of course, nobody did, whether that would be pass at town meeting or not, we needed to file an A&R plan, which gives us, as you know, a 3-year use freeze. So that was the reason it was done, because we kind of found ourselves all of a sudden stuck in the middle of this situation where there was a proposed zone change after our zoning amendment that would have been a problem for the project that he had been working on for a year.
Got it. Understood. Thanks for the clarification. I have no further questions. It seems fine.
Okay, great. Jean, questions?
Nope.
Peg, any questions?
I do not.
Thank you. Anyone from the public have a question? Josh, would anyone from the public have registered an opportunity to speak on this particular request?
No, John, no.
So hearing no questions, is there a motion to accept the Form A as presented?
I move to accept the Form A as presented.
Is there a second? Second by Jim, I think I heard.
Yes.
Okay, so roll call vote. Tori?
Yes.
Peg?
Yes.
Lou?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
And I'm in favor as well. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. So there's been a change to 69 North Street. Let me read. This came out this afternoon around, I think, 2 o'clock. This is actually a letter from Attorney McCann to the board members. On behalf of the North Street Development LLC, I hereby request a continuance of the above referenced matter to the planning board meeting of December 14th, 2021 to allow time to respond to the engineering department's comments received last week. The applicant grants the planning board an extension of time in which to act on the definitive subdivision application until December 23rd, 2021. Thank you for your considerations, Nancy McCann. So, Nancy, do you want to add anything to that? Of what was just into the record?
Yeah, no, we've been working with planning staff as well as the engineering department, and unfortunately, we didn't receive final official comments from the engineering department until the end of last week. So while we don't have any particular problems with them, we thought it best to revise the plans accordingly and make sure that that we've got all of those addressed before we come to you for the final for a final vote. So we think we will have that accomplished in time, certainly for the December 14th meeting. We had kind of hoped we would have it done for today, but it was just too quick. So we'll be ready to proceed forward with you on December 14th.
Okay. Questions from the board, Lou?
Yeah, the only question I have is just, obviously, I know you want to use the time also to review any sort of engineering comments and all and respond to them. Do you? We've also received, I know, a fair number of public comments, including from the abutters as well. I know we received one, I think, relatively recently from Steve and Lisa Mullins from 9 Pentucket, and so I wasn't sure if during this time as well, has planning staff provided you all with copies of any correspondence that's been received as well, so you'll be able to address those at the next meeting?
No, and that would be very helpful if planning staff, if Mr. Morse could get that
Sure.
to me, that would be helpful. But also, just so that the board knows, we did invite the abutters to a meeting at the end of last week. And there was some abutters did attend that, so that was helpful. I think to have that done. So we've done some outreach there, but if there's correspondence that has come in, I would certainly appreciate that so that we can be prepared to address any concerns and
Sure.
reach out in advance of the meeting if that's appropriate.
Great, thank you.
Yep, not to interrupt, Nancy, I could definitely send you that information. Something I would just like to advise, just since this item is going to be continued, we should just be careful about getting into it too much. That's all, just kind of at a macro level. Just we should be careful if we aren't gonna, since it is going to be continued, we just maybe shouldn't get into like the very particulars of it. That's all. But I appreciate your comment, Lou.
I won't say. I just want to make sure that she was aware of it. That's all.
Sure.
Okay. Peg, any questions around the continuance?
Did you, I'm sorry, I missed, did you
I
ask?
just was wondering if you had any questions about.
Oh, no, I do not. I do not, no.
Jim, any questions?
Nope.
Tori?
No.
Jean?
I just had one question. I was looking in the plans and did they provide the existing stormwater runoff and the proposed stormwater runoff plans?
Answer that.
Yes, we did, but if you're asking me to respond.
In the plans that we have, I don't know if we have an existing condition sheet, but I don't know,
Yeah, I was
Nancy, if you
just
want-
wondering, like the ones that the engineer presented last meeting. Well, before the one that got canceled, just so I could look at it. But if that's not part of what normally gets submitted, then I guess that's okay.
what the staff has not received an updated plan since our last meeting. We should be receiving something, and Nancy, I've been communicating all week. We should be receiving something very soon, and I can distribute that. I can distribute the plans to the board when I receive updated plans, if that was your question, Jean.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. That'd be helpful.
Yep.
So since this is a continuation, was there anyone from the public that had a question about the continuation till the next meeting of, the first meeting in December? Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion to continue the application to our December 14th meeting, I believe was the date? Yes, December 14th, 2021, with the understanding that the planning board's extension of time to act on a definitive subdivision application has been extended to December 23rd, 2021. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Okay, let's do the roll call. Jim?
Yes.
Peg?
Yes.
Lou?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
And I'm in favor as well. So we'll take this up at the December 14th meeting.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Happy
Same to you.
Thanksgiving
Happy
to you.
Thanksgiving.
Thank
too.
you.
So we just have a few last item on the agenda are the minutes of prior meetings. The first meeting was Tuesday, April 27th. And both Jim and Tori were not at that meeting. So, Peg, you and I and Lou were at that meeting. So if I could get a motion to accept those minutes from one of you two in a second, that'd be helpful.
I move that we approve the 4/27/21 meeting minutes.
I second that motion.
Great. So just a quick, any comments around the minutes? I know the folks that weren't there, but any concern about the minutes, anything that they've read? If not, I'd just like to do a roll call vote for this meeting for the people who are there. So Peg,
Yes.
Lou,
Yes.
okay, and I'm in favor as well. The next meeting was Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. Lou, Peg, Jim, and I were at that meeting. So any questions around those minutes of May 25th? If not, is there a motion to accept the minutes as written?
I move to accept the minutes of May 25th, 2021 as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Jim,
Yes.
Peg,
Yes.
Lou,
Yes.
and I'm in favor as well. Okay, the final minutes where the whole board was present was July 13th, 2021. Any questions or comments about the minutes? Not, can I have a motion to accept the minutes of July 13th, 2021 as written?
So moved.
Okay, that is from Tori. Is there a
Oh,
second?
sorry.
I second.
Okay, so let me just do a quick roll call. Peg,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Lou,
Yes.
Tori,
Yes.
and Jean. I don't believe you were there, correct?
Correct.
Right. Okay, and I'm in favor as well. So those minutes are approved for the record. Is there any other matters to be presented by staff or a member of the board tonight?
No.
Hey, John, I just had one comment. I know Jean is a new member. Just point of information, I don't think you can have her vote on matters unless it's a special permit and someone's not here. So just by way of practice, and I know not anything to you, Jean, it's just protocol. So I think she can only vote on those matters that where it's a special permit and someone is absent. I don't want someone to say that there's an issue with voting because she's listed as voting for something where she's not allowed to vote for it. So that's just a point of information.
Yeah, appreciate that, Jim.
All right.
Great, good feedback. So if there's no other matters, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Oh, by the way, nice job to the board. Those of you who are not members of the town meeting, everything that was presented was approved.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, so it was a good outcome. So happy Thanksgiving all, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Happy Thanksgiving, John.
Yeah, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Have a great
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.